This clip is brought to you by Merrick Health, the premium telehealth network from Derek More Plates, More Dates. Get your blood work and hormone optimization done under the same roof. Enjoy this clip.
Yeah, what about the the whole the hunger signaling? Something that, because I don't fast as long anymore, but something that Nsima has talked about quite a bit too is like when we fast, we went from I'm hungry, I need to go devour food to I'm hungry, it's gonna pass, I'll be fine. So for like certain people, like shouldn't they at least practice that to kind of understand that when the hunger signals come, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to feast right now. You can probably get away with, kind of certain, like you'll be fine, right? You're not gonna die if you don't eat right now.
Yeah, it's helpful to know that as a tool, right? Whether we're talking mental toughness or appetite regulation or balance or comfort with those signals, we definitely want to feel comfortable, I guess, with the feeling of hunger to an extent. But I think that thinking falls in that category of fighting against our bodies, right? So this idea that our bodies want us to be unhealthy. If we listen to our body's own signals, we're just going to overeat. We're going to eat the worst foods. We're going to get really fat. We're going to get sick. We're going to have all sorts of diseases. And it's the worst thing for our health. And so everything we need to do has to be oriented around fighting against those instincts so that we can be healthy. And I don't think that that's the case. I don't think we want to be looking at our hunger signals as something to resist or something to ignore, but rather to look at them as information. And in somebody who's in a very dysfunctional state or very degenerated state, we have to be careful for sure. I'm not saying just go full on listen to whatever those signals are and eat to your heart's content. I think that can certainly cause some problems. But I think we want to keep in mind that those hunger signals are there because there's a lack of energy. And so we don't want to ignore that, fight against it. We don't want to rely on those stress hormones. I would say that we want to listen to that, but we also just want to make sure that we are responding to it appropriately. So if we respond to it by then consuming a donut, which I think there are so many issues with that, things that aren't going to lead to efficient mitochondrial respiration, that's not going to be conducive toward turning those hunger signals down. It's not going to be conducive toward our health. So it's
going to taste good.
It is going to taste good.
You got all our minds shifted on donuts right now.
Well, because that's what I was literally going to ask you next. Like the context definitely matters because, Jay just said I should pay attention to these hunger signals, but I just ate a chocolate bar or I ate a donut and, oh man, I'm really hungry because my body's telling me it needs more nutrients or whatever, even though they don't say that. But right, so like what you're saying is like after a chicken breast, if you're still hungry, you probably should maybe eat some more.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I lived that. Like I lived that.
He's diving into some dark chocolate.
Yeah, he said to eat some. You might as well.
Dude, I actually have some hunger signals going off right now. I think I need to dip into some chocolate.
I'm supporting this theory. It's great.
Sorry to derail you.
Nsima's not on board yet.
I'm not hungry yet.
No.
I thought you were still...
Yeah. So I've been there. Like I've lived that and I've lived the calorie equation, right? I've lived that situation where because I wasn't orienting what I was doing toward maximizing mitochondrial function and energy production, I was left in that state where if I tuned into my hunger signals and followed them, I would then gain weight and I wouldn't feel as good and it would lead to me not feeling my best, right? And with that shift in perspective, and we can talk about, like, I'm not saying like there's some magical thing, right? I'm talking about, certain dietary changes or changes to our environment. But now I am in a situation where I can listen to those hunger signals and they actually turn off when I've given my body what I feel like it needs, or what I think it's telling me it needs. And I can live in balance with that. And I don't have to constantly feel that restriction and that drive and use the willpower to fight against it. And just real quick, to finish that thought, I've worked with a lot of clients who are in that same boat. So they might have thought that they had a sugar addiction or a food addiction or that they were overweight because they wouldn't stop eating, right? They would have the first scoop of or spoon of the Haagen-Dazs and then they're going to finish the whole pint. There's no stopping, right?
I chose Haagen-Dazs?
not Ben and Jerry's.
They don't know what's going on, man. Anyway, sorry.
Haagen-Dazs doesn't have the gums. Yeah,
that's true. That is true.
But so I've worked with people like that, and I've felt that way myself. I've gone through that binge restrict cycle, absolutely, and huge binges, right? I mean, it would be one brownie and then it would be 10. Like it would be the whole pan or the whole loaf of banana bread or whatever it was. But after getting somebody to a situation where they are actually efficiently converting the fuel that's coming in into energy, and those signals actually turn off when they're consuming the foods that I would say we are ideally meant to be eating, they are then actually able to get to that point where they take a spoon of the ice cream and they take a couple more, but then they stop. They don't feel like they want more. It's not a willpower situation. It's not a restriction situation. It's a situation where the hunger signals are actually then turning off and they're able to put it back. And it's not based on how full you are. It's not based on filling up on a ton of protein and salad and drinking a ton of water so that you're physically full. It's based on the actual physiological signal in terms of ATP levels that dictate our hunger. And so and again, I've had people who, this was their whole life, right? They're like nearly crying when they're talking to me and saying, I had a bite of the pie or the cake at my kid's birthday party, and I didn't even finish the piece. Like I didn't feel out of control. I didn't feel like I needed to eat multiple pieces. I was just able to have a couple bites, and there's such freedom that comes from that. So that's the perspective or the goal that I have when it comes to hunger, as opposed to finding ways where we can resist that signal better.
Hey guys, if you like this clip, go ahead and comment down below and let us know what you liked about it. All right. Share this with a friend. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And also, we are on Reddit and Discord. All that's down below. All our sponsors and everyone that supports us down below there too. So you can get whatever you like from us. All right. Peace.